in a higher state of consciousness where you're in neutrality and you've transcended the duality and you're not in the duality dramas that Rob was talking about, you become like the higher self looking down on it and it going underneath you. And they talk about it like in the subconscious, the waves actually moving and you rise above the wave. So I wanted to share an example of this and what this would look like. This probably isn't the very best example, but I can explain it with this picture. And a dear love, her name is Alberta Hutchinson, painted these quite some time ago. And just to demonstrate this, if you look at the Buddha looking down at the wave below. Rob, can you see my pointer on the
I can,
screen?
yes.
Awesome. Okay. So if you look down at that, if you imagine yourself as this little tiny person down here and your life is just going through with these waves, right? Here comes the full moon and everybody's crazy and you're just kind of not conscious to those things happening or the energy is moving, you're kind of going to feel like life's a roller coaster. But if you have a meditation practice every day, you can be down here, but you can also be up here. It's kind of like I'll do meditations with groups and we'll kind of feel like we're Green Tara, who is the bodhisattva of compassion and loving kindness and love, and really embodied that self-love. And she's sitting on this lotus throne here, for example, and she's kind of flying up through the higher planes, really free, not kind of a slave to the waves. So she's in this free thing, and there's the way that we can do this where we can embody the higher self and kind of just watch that other part of ourself that might be going into the drama to say, no, I am going to influence it from here. It's taking your power back, your sovereignty back. So it's saying, one of my clients phenomenally says, especially if you're going into shame or guilt or anger or fear, and she feels that coming on, she'll say, we don't do that anymore. We don't do that anymore. One of the mindfulness techniques that I'll use, being the watcher of the thought, not just the one that goes with every thought that comes in, I'll say, why would I choose to harm myself with that thought? I'm not going to do that. And one of the techniques that the Kybalion gives is the technique to be able to see it from the perspective of the watcher and the master, the mastery over the lower realms, because you have this new mindful conscious awareness. And one of my favorite axioms from Hermeticism is know thyself. So a lot of us get stuck on these repeating loops that happen with the same traumas and the same triggers and and the same drama. And the more we know where we're triggered, the more we can rise above to no longer follow those rabbit holes anymore. So I love that image for showing the bilocation of being the higher self in the higher planes, but also being your daily personality in the lower planes. And neither is wrong or bad. And I want to be very clear about that because there's a lot of judgment sometimes when you're starting a spiritual journey or you're having a day in the yuck, right? It's not a bad thing to, feel those waves. It's just there's this higher mastery that's possible when we begin to know thyself.